What is going on, everybody? We are back. We're going to take a look at an interesting set of numbers here. By the numbers. Let's go do it. Hey, everybody. Scott Oden coming at you. We're here. We're taking a look at some numbers that are sent in by subscribers. Again, this is by the numbers. If you're interested in having your numbers looked at, make sure you head over to Instagram or Facebook. Get some shots together and send them in over there. That seems to be the easiest way to do that. Just send in a screenshot of your data, 5-6 shots per club, and we'll take a look at them, see what you need to be focusing on as we go through. That is the goal of this series. So let's get into our numbers for today. Today we have numbers sent in by Todd P. These are going to be a 7-iron. These are some Callaway X18 irons with an RCT golf ball. So that's helpful information. I'll talk a little bit about that in just a second why. But when we know it's an RCT ball, that ball works very well with radars. Not the R10 apparently, but with the Mevo Plus and TrackMan and stuff and X3, it works really, really well. So we'll see some good spin numbers and stuff, and that just see consistency in the data, I think, is what we end up getting. But without further ado, let's jump right into these numbers. Okay, so first thing we always look at when we're looking at numbers is smash factor, all right? We have to know if we're hitting the ball in the middle of the face. So Todd does a pretty good job of that. One of these numbers drops a little bit, two of them, but what's interesting is I brought up the irons earlier. Those irons are fairly forgiving. That was kind of one of the best things. I used to fit a lot of those irons. And the biggest thing was because even on not perfect hits, they actually work out really well because you can see the distances really don't drop off a whole lot when he's missing the center of the face. So just something to think about, and that's one of the beauties of technology and club fitting. However, don't let that be a crutch that, hey, I still need to hit the ball in the middle of the face. But I think he's doing a good job and definitely can move on to learning how to control the ball. So as we're looking at these numbers now, we're seeing he has his launch horizontal, right? So he's got his launch horizontal highlighted with some data parameters. So obviously this is something I think he thinks he needs to work on. And I think he could work on it a little bit as well, because we do see shots that start right, left, right, left, things like that. That's something you want to try to start dialing in, because when we go to his spin axis, it does look like he's trying to maybe play a draw, but when you're kind of getting the wrong side of things, if I start one left and have it start curving left, you're going to get a bigger finishing distance from the target. Same thing if I start it right, curve it right, going to get a bigger finishing distance to the target. So for this player, there's actually something that's extra interesting about this data that we would look at. And I kind of move on to angle of attack here. I always like to check this one, and we can see his angle of attack actually has a little bit of variance in it. And so the thing we have to know about angle of attack is it does affect your club path. We've talked about this in previous videos, but the club path is going to be, the more you hit down, the more rightward for a right-handed player. So the more in to out you are going to be swinging it. If you're hitting more up, the more out to in you're going to be hit it, or left for this player. So as we're looking at his shots, it's not a coincidence that this one here, see how he has a decent launch horizontal, but his angle of attack is very, very shallow. Thus, it helps create a path that's more left, which then fades the ball. Okay. Conversely, the ones that are spinning the most left, it seems to be like he's hitting more down on it. Now, that's not always the case, but it's something to look at as we're going. And where this starts to affect things is, if your angle of attack is always varying, that means your club path is going to be varying. And if your club path is varying, then your club face has to adjust. So from this standpoint, I wouldn't necessarily worry about the face just yet. I would actually worry about that second and worry about the angle of attack first to get the club path more stable. That way, he's not constantly looking to try to adjust the face for the different club paths that he has going on. So for this player, what I would be first checking is, let's look at ball position. That has a big impact on where your angle of attack is. I'd be looking at tilts. How is your body tilting at address? That has a big effect as well on angle of attack. The other thing I would look at then in the swing is I would be looking at how we're transferring pressure. So if I make a back swing, I get back, I want to transfer into my front foot. If I'm going to do that, how am I doing that? And making sure that feels like I'm very consistent with that. I don't want to be hanging back on some, really pushing forward on others. I want to be consistent on that. My guess here is we might be just hanging back a little bit on a couple of these, which results in that path getting more left. And so what I would actually be focused on is bring it back, shift it forward, then strike the golf ball. That's going to move your center forward, which makes you hit down on the golf ball. And you'll be doing that a little bit more consistently. To me, what it seems like is these -4 shots seem like the best shots that I would kind of be chasing after. As a combination of distance, launch, spin, just kind of putting everything together. That's what I would do. I typically, -3 to 4 is where I like to see 7-irons. That is not an exact science. Some people hit more down on it. Some people hit more up on it. The key is, are you getting what you want consistently? And then everything else falls into place around that. So that would be what I would be doing with this player. But these are really good numbers. So far, we've had a lot of really good numbers. So, again, we're just kind of picking out these one little things that I would work on and grind on and make sure you're getting really solid at. And you're going to find that you're more consistent and apt to be able to go out and just play and shoot really good scores. So that's what I would do. That's how these numbers look like. And Todd P, thanks again so much for sending in your numbers. Again, if you want to send yours in, check out Facebook, Instagram, head over there and send them in. I will get to them. We're going to be going hardcore through all these numbers that have been sent in. So make sure you get them in. We'll be rifling through them on the channel here. So thanks everybody for tuning in. If you have questions, comments, please leave them in the comment section down below. And as always, click that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.